Davis Gray, where we talk about issues that concern the state, void of politics, fear, or favor. The Minister of State in charge of government communications, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, has attributed Ghana's recent economic challenges to what he described as fiscal recklessness under the former Akufo-Addo-led New Patriotic Party administration. Speaking at the Africa-Singapore Business Forum on Monday, August 25th, Mr. Kwakye Ofosu argued that overspending by the previous government played a major role in the country's financial decline. One of the problems that precipitated the economic decline in the very recent past under the NPP was fiscal indiscipline, the tendency to live outside our means.
This is
and
Ghana
spend
Talks
more
Radio.
than we earn, he stated. The minister contrasted the current Mahama administration with its predecessor, stressing that the present government has been prudent with national resources and is prioritizing investment in critical sectors. He also highlighted government's cost savings approach to pointing to lean ministerial delegations representing Ghana at Singapore Forum. So that is from the Minister of State in charge of government communications, Felix Kwakye Ofosu. Anyone who reads this, two things comes into mind. How long has the current administration been in power? That's 7 months. Have they been able to cut down costs, or are they spending in their means? We can give a lot of factors. They've actually cut down the tendency of appointing more people into ministerial positions. We saw them stabilizing the cedi to a dollar. We saw that as well. We also saw them collaborating with a lot of companies. That is why the president is on a 2-day tour to Singapore and Japan, just to collaborate with investors to promote the businesses in this country. Because if these people should invest in Ghana, imagine they coming to open their company here. It will employ people from the country. If a Singapore investor has his company in Ghana, he's not going to employ people from Singapore to come and work here. They will have their own people, but more people will be employed for Ghana to work in that company, and it's going to benefit us as a country. Now, Mr. Felix Kwakye Ofosu is saying that due to the reckless spending of the previous administration, that is the main reason why they are having a lot of financial issues. And I'm not the one saying this, but we can all attest to the fact that the previous administration did not live within their means. They didn't. We saw a lot of things. They didn't live within their means. We saw former President Akufo-Addo coming to tell us that he's going to protect the public purse at all costs. The video is there. He spoke clearly. He said he was going to protect the public purse. He's not going to overspend at the expense of the taxpayer. We believed him. Those time Kenke was sold at 2 cedis. He said it was too expensive. The cedi to a dollar was somewhere 2 cedi to 1 cedi to a dollar. He said it was too expensive. And so we trusted him. He brought heaven on earth. His promises were so enticing. And because we Ghanaians, we like to try people. We like to test. Yes, so we like to test people. So we also took a bold initiative. And then we saw him share. And this is where we've gotten to. 2 cedi to a US dollar. Now, before the left power, a cedi to a dollar was how much? Before the left power, how much do you buy your Kenke? Kenke is now sold at 5 cedis. The Kwakye that I used to buy at 5 cedis, 4 cedis, with all its babies around. Now you can only buy Kwakye at 10 cedis. Kwakye alone is sold at 10 cedis. When you buy that, you still have to buy the babies around. And before you finish buying all that, you're supposed to be paying. Kwakye alone, you can pay like 50 cedis for Kwakye right now in Ghana. If you don't have money with you, you don't even go to the restaurant because you cannot afford it. That is how far the previous administration has brought us. They messed up everything. Reckless spending. They were not accountable to us. They were not transparent. We were here when they told us that they are building a national cathedral. A lot of money went into it. Now the national cathedral is nowhere to be found. The money is nowhere to be found. The people involved in it are nowhere to be found. And when you sit down to speak, they will start tagging you with names. But let's speak to the fact as it is. The NPP government has done worse to this country. And that is why when I see them coming up to, each day and every second coming out with a press conference, I sit down to ask myself, these people, do they sit down, do they reflect on the life they've led for 8 good years? A government that came into power for 8 good years. Someone might say 8 worse years. And they still cannot account for anything. And I remember the former president, state of address, his last state of address to the country. Someone asked him a question. Can you be accountable for the National Cathedral? He said nothing. They were not accountable. They brought in nuisance tax. We were paying tax that do not exist. COVID-19, we were still paying tax. For COVID, we were paying tax. We were paying a lot of taxes. They brought e-levy. They told us that we need to construct good roads. We understand. They told us that our infrastructures are dilapidated, and that is true. We have a lot of students sitting on floor to study. If you go to some remote areas, you will cry for these students. They are struggling to be educated because they lack the infrastructure. We accepted it because we need improvement. And you said you are bringing on e-levy. We told you that the e-levy, you said no. You told us the amount of money that you will get from this e-levy. We gave you the nod. Aside that, you pumped champagne. You cut cake on top. You enjoyed at the pains of these ordinary citizens, as you people called us. In the midst of this e-levy, contributing of this e-levy, we saw nothing. And the only means that we generate revenue into the country, you collapse it. Toll booth. A day, I'm sure we'll be getting like millions of cedis. Because a vehicle can pass it like 5 times and you'll still be paying. And those money go straight into the coffers of the state. And it also provide a means of livelihoods for those disabled. The people collapsed it. I saw disabled coming up to petition the former administration. That see, where we sit is the only means of our livelihood. That is where we get money. You told them that no. You shut it down and then you brought in e-levy. E-levy no so someone is talking, you are also talking. And you want us to sit back and clap for you because you did well. The people you people call the economic wizard who said he has to lock the city to the dollar and giving the key to IGP. Up to now, I don't even know whether he has taken the key from IGP and then handed it to the current administration. I don't know. But you see, when we want to take the political lens away, this current administration came not long. They are in past 7 months to 8 months. Let's look at what they did. You just sit down and look at what they did. President Mahama and his administration, they are trying every possible best to protect the public purse. In a way, I would say that Felix Kwakye is in a haste because they still have more years to go. We've seen worse than this, so we see people promise us more than this. And in fact, they pushed all of us into the ditch. So with him, I will tell him that he should keep quiet because we are still monitoring their footsteps. President Mahama still have about 3.5 years to go. So coming out to say this open term, it will come back hunting yourself. So with him, they need to be very careful. But if you want to compare those people to these people, judge for yourself. Thank you for making time with me on Debbie's Grill.